Dustin Christensen. This is my presentation on my e-portfolio. First and foremost, I believe my leadership style is authentic and uh, I have a servant heart. I like to serve my staff and my students to the best of my ability. I love giving them gifts um, and rewarding them with just my servant heart. I I graduate this spring. I've been taking uh, graduate courses for building leadership since 2016. Before that, I started my master's in special education and decided to change to building leadership. I've been working on this for the last 3 years. I've luckily been paying as I go, so at the end of this, I won't have any debt for my graduate degree. So I'm a huge belief that school reform is important to look at and how we can help school change for the 21st century learner. There's huge research that needs to be done on this. Secondly, I'm all about leadership and how we can help better leadership. I am a huge fan of Principal Cafella, and he just notes in this article that to avoid school burnout, we always have to reflect on the why we joined the field of education. School assessment is huge in today's education world. What are we doing as leaders to improve formative and summative? What is out there? I'm a huge fan of the NWA. I like to see test kids as they move on in their education time from fall to spring, see if they are growing. School improvement is huge. I think what are we doing to help schools improve and not just stay in a rut? I am a huge component or proponent to school culture and environment. If you have a good culture and good environment, kids want to come to school. They don't want to just stay at home and play video games. If you have a staff that really do care, that's important to have. I believe that if the teachers are happy, the students are learning. Data analysis is huge in today's education world. What are we doing to train our staff, look at the data, and to improve the instructional program? Effective principles at the key of this is they shape a vision, they create a climate of learning so that, like I said in my previous, they create that climate of culture of learning. They manage people and data, and they improve instruction. This is through evaluations, and creating different roles within the school and letting teachers be the leaders. As I had this article down because I believe that we need to look at everything, including education policy. Classroom management. When I was an undergrad, my student teacher told me showed me an article, and it said the number one indicator for student success is classroom management. So as a leader, I want to expect that from all my staff. What are they doing in the classroom? What are their rules? What are their consequences? How are they handling it before they go to the admin? And then lastly, building staff relationships is important to me. I believe creating that staff trust is very important to student success. Okay, some things I've done at the district level is I went to the Systems Change Conference, and at that conference we spent uh, going to some workshops on school vision and goals, and we created the Edgemont School Vision Survey, and we sent it out to our stakeholders. And this is what it kind of looks like. Secondly, I've been part of the student leadership team. Right here and here is a picture of what we've been doing on Canvas. They're on this Canvas LMS tool where we we meet in person in the classroom, and then we use this as a tool to create discussion and how they want the school to look like. We, as a whole, we created this vision from the students. And what they wanted to see. Okay, we worked on the schedule. When I was in Wyoming, I presented on an executive function skill presentation. And when here in Edgemont, I did a behavior training for the paraprofessionals and the substitutes for the district at the beginning of the year. So this is kind of a glimpse of what we talked about, and we gave them some scenarios that they might encounter. Part of my admin duties was to go to games and be the admin administrator on duty at ball games. I spent at least 13 hours on this. As a leader, it's important to go to every aspect of the school, and that includes games, and to show that your kids care, but also to just make sure the crowd is being sports minded and having good sportsmanship. I attended the board meetings, as well as I went to my superintendent and became kind of a social media director, is what I kind of call it. I keep the stakeholders up to date with everything that is involved with the school through the social media account. So this is what it kind of looks like. Okay, I'm part of the EPIC group, which looks at education policy in the state of South Dakota. And then as an RDA pilot, we look at the data across the board for special ed students and how we can help improve the outcomes for them. At the elementary level, like I said, I helped with the vision, and I'm part of the student leadership team. For teaching and learning, I did a behavior training with the paras and implemented a digital citizenship curriculum slash posters throughout the school. This past March, I was designated Dean of Students, and that included me dealing with discipline in the elementary setting as well as in the high school setting. These are some evidence here. Is we had problems with little kids pooping in the bathroom and making a mess. I suggested to teachers to put up a visual because they're little kids, they forget what to do. So that has helped tremendously. I have been going to board meetings. And this is important because this is where we develop those relationships with the board members as well as stakeholders of the community. We create policy to help the school thrive. I am part of the EPIC program, which looks at education policy K-12. And like I said, I'm part of the RDA pilot that looks at data analysis and risk analysis for the district and the special ed students. At the secondary level, that's kind of where I want to be. I went to systems change, helped with the vision. I'm part of the school leadership team, middle school, high school, helped with the schedules and the vision and mission. Like I said earlier, Edgemont is a K-12 school with 140 kids and 40 kids in the high school. So when you are a leader here, you're pretty much doing everything, elementary and high school. So like I said, I developed an executive skills presentation and presented it to the board and to the staff on how to help kids with functioning skills and improving their academic skills. I did the behavior as well as incorporate digital citizenship in the district. Like I said, I am designated Dean of Students. I've worked with elementary and high school students. This is just a report I created after a certain incident dealing with a student doing vaping on campus. And that just after handling that situation, kids aren't smoking like in the bathroom anymore like they used to. There's new technologies and it's scary. Vaping and juuling is a scary thing, and just reminded me as a leader that we need to have policies and procedures in place for everything, because kids will do the unexpected. Like I said, I got asked to go to the System Change Conference. This is where we kind of went together as a collective team and created our vision and kind of our mission statement and brought it back to the school staff, and we are creating surveys and implementing that new vision mission for customized learning. Here's a picture of us at the System Change Conference. This is Sean Cavell. This is myself. This is the elementary teacher. This is the superintendent. This is a board member, and this is the tech coordinator. Sean Cavell, for if you don't know, is a producer of Napoleon Dynamite, and he is a graduate of Edgemont School District. So it's kind of neat how it just circles back, how as educators and leaders, we do make an influence. I am part of the EPIC group, and this meets 3 times a year to discuss education policy for the state of South Dakota. And this RDA is huge for Edgemont. It's a great pilot program. Here's an example of what we've worked on, created for not just our district, but will be implemented in other districts by 2020. So this is kind of what we use. We look at this IEP, we look at our IEPs, and then check off, make sure we're compliant and we're not missing anything. So this is going to be huge for the state of South Dakota. Lastly, my reflection. I learned a lot through this program. I was a little nervous when I first started because it was online. And all meant working 40 hours and being a coach and doing this. I thought I couldn't do it, but I did it. I finished debt free. And along the way, I learned a lot about leadership through my readings. And I really found this interesting in one of the books I read out of Sean Cavoy. Leadership and management are intertwined. We as leaders need to be effective, doing the right things, building those relationships with staff and students, being innovative, inspiring people, building complementary teams, and teaching principles. Management is doing things right, scheduling, optimizing, and improving teaching practices. Overall, I feel like very happy with this program. I felt like even though I was up here in South Dakota, I felt like I was right in Fort Hays State University, learning in a brick and mortar school, and I'm ready and prepared for a career in educational leadership. Thank you for listening.